mention anything about the walk adding to the agenda? However you guys want to handle it.
Let me know when you're up and running and we'll.
WCW1, get. Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead and call the meeting to order. The August 5th Walton County Design Review Board meeting. Tim, do we have any announcements tonight? First item on the agenda is the request to approve the minutes from July 1st DRB meeting. Has everyone had a chance to look at those? Are there any questions or changes? Does anybody care to make a motion on those?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Before we move on, we do have only 4 members here tonight. So in order to have a project approved, there has to be unanimous approval from all 4 members. Just wanted to make sure everyone was aware. I think they can probably request if necessary, if it fits there. First project, Comfort Inn Monument sign. Tim?
Yeah, good evening. Tim Brown with Planning and Development. You probably know this as Miramar Beach Hotel. Now it's Comfort Inn. So this first one is a monument sign measuring 88.625 inches by 129.9375 inches for a total of 79.97 square feet on 1.59 acres with the future land use of mixed use and a zoning of coastal center. This sign is compliant with the scenic corridor regulations. I would ask that the staff report be entered into the record. I'll take any questions you may have, and the applicant is present.
Colored pictures of the existing or what the building is going to be? all black and white, unless I missed something.
No, black and white is all that was provided. Don't know if the building sign graphic shows it or not.
It doesn't show any color.
Yeah.
It shows different textures and
Those are the original elevations for that project. I don't know if they had a color rendering or what, but those were the elevations that were presented for that project.
Yeah.
somewhere,
Or no,
because
I don't think anybody on this board would have approved it. On the
the
monument sign?
monument sign, but it doesn't match, if the monument signs have to match or be compatible with the building, and there's no way of matching the color. We don't have a color building.
Oh, you're talking about the sign. Yeah, it's, gotcha. Okay. You have a-
I can't
The blue, it had some blue or something in it.
I mean, the smoothness of it is fine. I mean, I see the building has smooth surfaces.
Have a record
Anybody
of,
that can say something about this? Is there anybody that represents the building?
No, only the sign people are here.
do you have a record of when the building came through?
Not with me, but I know those are the original elevations, but I personally didn't think about color. I would have pointed them in the right direction. March of 2020.
Are you,
Years.
right? Are you looking that one up? Or do you want me? Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Do you have the project number? Because you can search CitizenServe. IN 19-000.
March.
Was it on our March agenda or was it on
Oh, that might have been the BCC.
Do all comfort inns have the same colors?
possibly? Sorry, possibly to her, not possibly to your question. I don't
Oh,
know.
Sorry.
But if you go into CitizenServe, you can pull it up and you can see the documents and you can see when it was approved.
Christy, what was that number again? MIN 19?
49.
It's on planning applications. If you go to the,
Or you can just put it in the search engine. It'll come up that way as well.
Serve?
Yeah, just put CitizenServe.
your better bet is gonna be going to the county's planning page and going to the online application portal. Select planning applications and there's a search function there.
I found it. Offered in proposal in Miramar Beach, Florida. That's what
I've got that's transmittal up now.
And yeah, I remember the project now when I see it. But it's got the slanted ceiling. Did you find it?
Yeah, I've got it right here. I'm trying to find a color rendering.
Well, it's right here.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was recent. You sure that's
I don't think that's,
It's the Miramar Beach Hotel proposal for, that's not it? I don't think that says Comfort Inn.
What was the last part, Lourdes?
Miramar Beach Hotel proposal for Town Place
Oh, sorry.
Suites.
No, Town
Continue.
Place is on Scenic Gulf Drive.
But it's one that we reviewed.
Yes, you reviewed it last month.
Okay,
Town
that's
Place
what I
Suite
remember.
Town Place Suites was last month. It's going to the Planning Commission next week.
Okay, it's got that blue.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a color rendering in the documents. I don't see a color rendering yet. But I pulled it up on the Walton County Citizens Earth page.
Okay.
But I'm not seeing a color rendering, so it doesn't.
It's really funny. Why would it
It would have, it looks like the submittals were February and March, so did you maybe check the February agenda? It's not on the February agenda?
The Miramar Beach Hotel is not.
Okay.
Go into reviews,
Hang on.
and it'll show you when it went to the DRB. But it should have the DRB inserts in there. That would have been what came to this board.
Let's see. Under reviews.
Yeah, it should say Design Review Board, and it'll show when it was completed.
Yeah, it was on the March 5th, 2020 agenda.
See it? Have I lost my mind?
Well, I don't see it on the agenda. I see it in Citizen Serve saying it was approved by us that night, so it would have had to have been. So I'm looking for the inserts now. Hang on.
I try to get them to label them as DRB, PC, BCC, but they don't always do that. That way, you know.
Oh, wait, March 4th, 2021?
Nope, 2020. Yeah, they're not listed.
Yeah, sometimes they don't list them that way, even though I try to get them to do that.
Was it March 5th?
Yes, March 5th, 2020. All right, none of these I'm seeing so far are color. These are all black and white.
All the
Bring
Miramar
samples?
Beach Hotel, yeah.
Well, each
Yeah, it
each
came in
sheet
as
of the
Miramar
page
Beach
set
Hotel.
is listed separately, and they're all listed the same, so I'm having to click on each individual page.
Yeah, unfortunately, that happens as well. We would rather have it in one document, but that's not always
Under
what we get.
50.
Yeah.
A lot of documents.
There were hardly any plan sheets in this. This can't be the whole packet.
Everything they submitted, unless they handed something out at the meeting.
Or,
they-
or brought something to the meeting. Is
Oh, I think I
It-
remember somebody having big boards.
Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily be in there if they brought it to the meeting.
okay.
I would have, I provided these elevations for them, but again, I didn't even think about color.
Lighting, the landscaping, and We had to have had more. Okay.
That's all we have.
Have any information as to what the color is of the building noted somewhere?
Well, it should have been on their architecturals. Even if it's in black and white,
Right, that's what I'm asking.
are the architecturals in there? They should be.
They're not. The architecturals are not in here. It's just the civil sheets, landscape plan, transformer screening.
That's really odd because a requirement for this board is
Right.
architectural plans.
Mm-mm.
All right, so,
You have to scroll further down. I mean, somewhere in there, there should be architectural plans.
I don't see any.
Because I review them
I
in
know, I
in
know-
the
I know you
initial
do.
review. I
Yeah.
mean, not even before it comes here, when they first turn it in. Oh, wait, you know what? I know why. Need to, they need to go back to the original approval.
oh, this was an amendment.
The building didn't change under that amendment. Nothing changed with the building.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, well, this should be, an easy button on this to the, other permits.
Major 18 to 29, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Nothing changed on the building with that amendment. It was,
Okay.
it was the parking lot that, and the landscaping that
But
changed.
what's the date now?
Hold on.
In the packet.
Okay.
Yeah, there definitely should be colored architecturals in there.
MAJ
1829.
23429. Okay. Let's try this. It looks like it went to DRB.
9/28/18. It was routed. That's not what
no,
went to the
no.
meeting.
It's December 6th of 18. Okay. Architecturals, here we go. They're black and white.
Oh,
Usually architecturals are black and white, but they usually have some rendering.
Not so far. I don't see a color rendering in the original packet either. I don't know what they would have brought for you guys to see.
Yeah, because it's on the checklist, whether you have a color rendering or not.
Let's see, where are their inserts? Do you see an insert graphic, Christy, in the?
You're gonna have to scroll.
Got it, I got it. Wow, okay. Really?
are these in the, architectural?
I've got them pulled, that sheet from the major pulled up on my phone. Sorry, it's on my phone, but, start and go around. The color on the facade is a beige and taupe color. Does not appear to have any blue.
I suspect the blue is probably
A brand color,
Comfort Inn.
yeah.
Yeah, because I saw it and it was the same blue.
So this particular,
It doesn't reference at all to the colors of the building.
not at all, no. Material, I think probably does.
Real is stucco, so it's probably.
So Tim, the sign color itself, the blue that's being shown here, is that being designated as a Munsell color, an approved Munsell color?
Well, signs aren't subject to Munsell. You guys require them to be at least similar to the building, but as far as our code, signs aren't subject to color.
The sign face isn't right, but the actual sign, the encasement, the structure, it's not?
No,
Okay.
Oh, which is interesting.
no, it's never, we've never restricted sign color. Now, this board has, but our code does not.
Okay.
I will say this. But the colors on that building are very neutral. So,
Jumped out at you compared to the building. Neon.
that,
The building is so neutral.
very neutral.
You know, this monument sign is gonna pop out like a
Sore thumb.
neon sign, you know, because it's just so blue compared to everything.
Is that an awning over the entrance, kind of an
Yeah, it's
architectural
like-
awning?
It appears to be wooden.
Is it
Or- or
wood?
The rendering looks like it's a wood.
Approaching this orange color, but if it's wood, it's not going,
No. Mm-mm.
okay. All right, y'all duke it out.
Okay.
I mean, can we just ask them to
Yeah.
incorporate the color, darkest color or whatever?
Well, and that would fit, so the signage proposed for the building is that blue color. So whereas we're seeing the white letters on the blue sign, the building is going to have blue channel letters on the beige building. So I don't think that would be out of character for the sign to be the same color.
Yeah, but I didn't see any signage on the building.
It's
the
the
next-
it's the second
it's the
item, the next
Oh,
item
the
on the agenda.
Second item?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
the next item.
Okay,
So-
well, that might, you know,
That might be a compromise, that
That
if they
might
pick
help.
the darker color from the building or the taupe color and have the channel letters, the blue, to match the building sign. That might,
Wait a minute, say that again.
so if the color way for the building and the sign were the same, you'd have the taupe background with the darker blue letters. So that color way would be the same on the building as it is for the monument sign, if they matched them. Whereas right now, the dark blue sign has white Comfort Inn letters for the logo. The C looks like it's the same color, that orange. They're not proposing to change the color on the building at all, are they?
No. No, the building is almost finished. I don't know if they have their CO yet, but they got their final sign-off from us.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to hear from the applicant?
Sure, we can do that.
Hi, Lori Smith, Florida Certified Sign Erectors.
Do you have anything you'd like to?
I could add. I mean, this is their brand color, so I don't know what this is gonna do, so.
Well, I think in the sign of the building, just like said, the channel letters are in the blue, which is the brand name. Monument sign, you could do the same. Have the background of the monument sign be neutral, the letters, Comfort Inn, and the numbers blue.
Mm.
And I think that would better match the whole thing. That's my opinion. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
But we can pick one of the colors from the building, or tell them, ask them to.
Yeah, well, the sign is,
I don't know that,
We just
but
have
I
the
have
rendering.
the
I mean, I'm sure
colors
it's
of
in
the
the
building.
packet,
So,
but, I think that's a good compromise, or we could ask them to bring us a proposal next month that demonstrates, whatever, a color scheme that would match or complement the building. If that, is the option, I guess.
well, my take is that the color where the sign is set on, the background for the sign, that color of the building would be the same as the monument sign, and then everything,
Mhm.
would be
so you're basically wanting the monument the same color as the building,
where.
with
well,
blue
there's-
letters
I
and an orange C.
Yeah, I don't know what the rest of the colors of the walls are in the building, but wherever you're gonna put your sign on the building, you know, which has got the blue letters and the C.
It kind of looks like a taupe color.
Yeah, you know, where in the architectural is all, you know, it seems like it's a brick or something texture there. That would be the same in the monument. And then, you know, Comfort Inn, instead of white letters, would be the blue letters. And the number underneath would be
The address
blue,
letters,
the address letters,
they don't have to
numbers.
be white?
No, I mean, no, not white, but the same blue against the white, the neutral background of the building. In the monument sign. Am I making it
No.
confusing?
Mm-mm. So you're saying you want the monument the same color as the building, that's what I'm getting from this?
Whatever color it is,
Yes.
there are a couple different colors on the building.
Seems like.
So can you
okay.
guys pick one, or?
That's
so-
what I'm picking.
Yeah, so we're suggesting that the, for lack of a better term, the taupe that is behind your channel letter
Right,
is the taupe that you use for the monument sign.
okay,
And the instead of having the white letters and numbers on the monument sign, that you would use the same blue
okay.
as their, mimicking the building sign. So that's the suggestion that we have for that.
Yeah, so therefore the address numbers would be in blue.
Okay,
And I think I could, support that tonight. If that isn't satisfactory, I think that they would need to come back and request a different colorway that they can demonstrate is more compatible with the building.
Show us the building.
I just wish we had known, so,
Yeah.
We could approve it the way we're telling you, and then say, if you don't agree, back.
okay, that would be great if we could do that.
Closer. I want to make sure
Oh,
she
okay.
can. Sorry. I just want to make sure she can pick it up. On the-
That work, Tim?
And again, if your client does not want to do that, they can come back and request something
Okay.
different that would be more compatible and that would be satisfactory for them.
Okay,
But I think that that's a good compromise.
okay. Do you guys have the color, the paint numbers, the colors? Or
You'll
you're
have to get that from the original submittal. I don't have that accessible tonight, but Tim
Okay.
can get that for
Okay,
you.
I'll work
Okay.
with Tim on that.
Does someone want to make a motion on the monument sign?
Lee, can you do it? Because I wasn't very clear, obviously.
Yeah, motion to approve with the condition that the color of the monument sign itself is the same color on the building that is behind the building sign, right? And that the lettering in Comfort Inn and the address numbers are the blue that matches the letters on the building sign. If they don't like it, they can come back.
I second.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment on this one? Okay, seeing none.
I mean, you do realize normally you can't even see the raceway when you install a sign. It's not always visible. So that's why I kept asking, do you want the monument to match the building? I know you can see it here on this drawing, but a lot of times they're not visible on the building because it does match, so.
Oh, we're not worried about the raceway. We're talking about the
We're
monument.
talking about the monument.
This one.
I know, but I thought you kept saying you want it to match this.
No,
Oh.
the color of the building.
Color of the building.
Okay,
behind
that's
the-
what, okay,
yeah.
okay. That's what I was asking
In that
earlier.
area. Because we
Okay.
don't know what the color of, if the building changes in other areas.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Monument sign passes with condition. Item number 3, the Comfort Inn building sign.
Yes, this is the building sign, so it's a sign application requesting approval of a building sign measuring 46 inches by 153.065 inches for a total of 48.89 square feet, which this building is large enough they could have a 100 square foot sign, on 1.59 acres with a future land use of mixed use and a zoning of coastal center. Also, we typically see the building sign facing Highway 98, but the entrance is on the east side, so that's where the sign is going, on the east side, above the entrance of the building. So it is in compliance with the regulations. I'd like to enter the staff report into the record and take any questions we have.
I'm confused.
Noted that the staff report has been entered. What do you mean you're confused?
Rendering in the book shows this sign is not over the entrance. It shows it on the south elevation.
Right.
Right.
Really?
Yep.
No, it's
It's
showing.
on the east side.
It's showing it on the elevation. There's only one, let's see, what do they call the elevation?
South elevation. That narrow
Is
side
that
of the
the
building.
street elevation or the side elevation?
That's the elevation that faces 98, which
Yeah.
is where I would think they would want their building sign.
Yeah, and
Well,
It's not over the entrance. to
maybe
the-
I'm mistaken. I was,
it
Under
faces
the-
98, but it's not over the entrance, because the entrance faces the parking lot.
yeah,
Correct.
the entrance is on the east side. Well, I stand
It's also
corrected.
probably why it's smaller, because that facade is pretty small, smaller than what's allowed, let me say. Because that facade section is small. The whole end of the building is smaller.
Yeah, it's the link side, not the, or the width side, not the link side.
Right.
Yeah,
I stand corrected then. It is facing Highway 98.
Sure, you didn't know something we didn't.
I could have
That
swore,
could be the case.
I have no problem with the sign. I think it's pretty, and it looks pretty on the building.
not enough sleep apparently.
I'm right there with you. That's why I wanted to
Well,
clarify.
the original, just to, I guess as a point of information, from the renderings of the original major development order, the Miramar Beach sign was not facing 98. It was in that location. So that may be what your memory serves from, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so does anybody want to take action on the building sign?
I motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any public comment? All right, seeing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Item number 4, DFW Flooring Cabinets and More building sign.
Yes, this is a building sign requesting, back up, requesting approval of a building sign measuring 36 inches by 176.16 inches for a total of 44.04 square feet on 1.63 acres with a future land use mixed use and a zoning of coastal center. This is also in compliance with our regulations. I'd like ask the staff report be entered into the record, and I'll entertain any questions.
Okay, staff report is noted as entered.
There are other storefronts in that same building that continue?
To the multi-tenant building.
I don't think so. I don't believe it's a multi-tenant building. But
They're putting this on the corner?
the applicant is here. I may be mistaken, but I wasn't under the impression that that was a multi-tenant building.
Did they,
Saying it is, so I guess
What?
there is. It is a multi-tenant building. So DWF is going to be one of the tenants. I was unaware of that. I thought it was the whole building.
we want to hear from the applicant to explain a little bit more about the sign.
Brianna Williamson with Eloq Signs. I do have additional handouts.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for providing a picture of the full complex.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Please
That
make
is
sure
so
you give
important.
one to, there you go.
There's no master signage plan, Tim, I'm assuming.
And can I ask whether each individual bay is a store? So you have two bays.
To my knowledge, they have two, correct.
They have two, but then on the other ones, there's one sign on top of one bay.
One location, and I think the other two have two bays, if I remember correctly.
Does that have, is that the sign for the two bays?
It looks like there's,
I think PPG has one sign.
yeah, and then it looks like there's a two-bay,
Got a really tiny sign.
something fabrics and home.
I know.
And then that looks like they have two bays and then one bay for the nail.
Good poster child for why they should have a master signage plan. Placed
Everywhere.
differently
Right.
and,
I know.
all right.
We center ours, so it's okay.
Might be the only one that's
I wish
centered.
everybody else did.
I mean, it's almost like, to me, I almost want, since the, what is the sign at the end? Walls and stuff.
Nails.
Nail spa.
nails and spa, okay, is tight to the cornice, and then the one next door, which is also tight to the corner, you almost want yours to be tight higher up to the corner, so at
We
least-
can.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah, but, that's so much, right? Every time I drive by, I'll move it down and over in my brain.
well, the thing is that, I mean, not even the, right next door, if they, at least you align 3 of them,
Yes, I know
then,
what you're
then
saying.
the other one's got the small letters, and it seems like it's missing the sign.
I know it. That's why I was saying they really need a master signage plan.
I mean, can we
No.
can't make them do it, so I'm just trying to come up with the least. Right now, if you put it where it is, it seems like there's everyone is in a different sign.
Right.
It's like totally different.
Well, let me
Out there.
let me say this though. How will it be? It's gonna make that one that's low really stand out because everybody else is gonna be in alignment with them.
No, but it also has the smallest letter, so at least it seems like, there's a blank.
Goes away a little bit. Oh, sheesh.
Well, the thing is that if you do lower it down, then, it's sort of like,
High, low, high, low.
yeah, and your sign has 2 lines,
Correct.
got nice centered on the top,
Yep.
and, and then it makes the other one seem like, I don't know what is the,
Another wish they had a master signage. Is there any reason why they didn't want to go with the flooring cabinets and more part being individual? I know they are individual channel letters, but just do them in black and have the building be the backdrop versus that black panel? Is that, are they on a
Yeah,
panel?
it's on a 1/4-inch panel.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they were originally on another place about a 1/4 mile down the road, and then they've relocated to this location, so they're using the same exact sign that was
Oh,
up at that location.
I can just tell you that you can even tell from the photograph. You're not gonna be able to read those little bitty white letters from the street. I mean, it would just stand out so much more and be more legible.
Right.
If they did.
I like that idea, Lee. I mean, at least it brings in the other sign a little bit.
And it
Yeah.
matches the other
Yeah,
signs,
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Because
what
we
they're
made it
all-
for them a while back, and it was staff approved, and at their old location, and then
Yeah.
they just wanted to reuse it.
I totally get that. Nobody's gonna be happy on this one, I can tell.
No, I don't think you're gonna be able to get anybody happy on it.
Tim, did they max out the DWF?
Want it bigger?
4.04, they could go to 54. 54 would be the max.
Might be the first
54
time we ever
what?
said we wanted the sign bigger.
Well, they already have these channels constructed, so they were
That's
trying-
right, they're trying to reuse an existing
Oh,
sign.
gosh. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because they were limited on their space on their other location, and this one has more
Oh.
space.
That's our, within our purview too, is to make sure.
Repurposing, that's good.
Right.
That is
Something
good,
in a landfill.
that is good.
I know, it's sustainable.
Right, good point.
If, just as a discussion point, so the nails and spa does look like it is abutting the corner. There's something right above the nails and spa. I'm guessing it's some sort of identifier name. And the other one that's up isn't quite that far up.
Right.
It's kind of like more centered in the middle of the nail saw.
Right. Well, I think that the whole,
It wouldn't bother me if it came up to match the elevation of the one that's immediately adjacent to it, but I really hate that it's so smushed on the nail sign up
Oh,
against the
yeah.
cornice.
Yeah.
So if y'all are considering a motion that would have them raise it, I would not raise it any higher than the maximum height on the neighboring
Yeah,
sign.
I didn't clarify that, but I would do that. You know, I would totally agree with that, because I hated being pushed onto the cornice, but you know. And I think that would, it would align all those three signs to a certain extent.
If they wanted to make,
Visually.
if they wanted to make the DFW larger, I think that they could scoot it down to match the other, so that the black felt like it was in line with the other letters.
Right.
Right.
And have the larger, I think that wouldn't
Bother me either.
bother me.
I mean, that would be the other option, I think. Are they, well, one is very, I like the fact that they don't throw it out and ends up in the landfill.
Me too.
So I rather the solution to lift it up a little bit
Okay.
and,
Just the placement, yeah.
yeah. But I would,
Yep. So just like it is, but raised to be in line, the top of it's in alignment with the top of the one next to it.
exactly.
That's basically what,
Yeah,
That's the best solution.
yeah.
And the greenest solution.
yes, I'm good with that.
Okay.
The whole thing needs,
Yeah.
Well,
Help.
Yes,
it's,
it does.
it is what it is,
Yep.
period.
Yep, we can't force them to do a sign plan.
All
All right.
There's not any existing, when the sign, I assume there was a sign here prior to.
Correct, and we removed that one.
Is there any damage to the building that's gonna cause an issue
No,
with this being
nope,
moved
there was
up
minor
any?
holes that we
Okay.
caulked in, all
Okay.
that, touched up paint, so we're good.
Anyone care to make a motion?
Motion to approve with the condition that it's moved up so that the top of this sign is in alignment with the top of the sign next to it.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Thank you.
Get a question. Is there a what's the Wi-Fi password?
Lourdes, you figured it out. What's the Wi-Fi password?
Oh, hold on.
Guest.
It used to be posted on the door, but
And-
my phone does it immediately, so.
WCW LAN guest.
But what's the Wi-Fi password to that Wi-Fi? I'm
Oh,
sorry, the
I,
password, do you
it,
know?
I don't know, because it just
No caps.
connected.
Okay. Item number 5, 98 flooring and mattress building sign.
Yes, this is a requesting approval of a building sign measuring 30, I'm sorry, that's the one before that. Requesting approval of a building sign measuring 31 inches by 461.3 inches for a total of 99.31 square feet on 1.186 acres, which a future land show mixed use and a zoning of coastal center. So this building is over 16,000 square feet, so it's eligible for a 100 square foot sign. So it is in compliance with our regulations. I'd ask the staff report be entered into the record.
So noted.
I'll entertain any questions you may have on this.
Okay.
I was just asking her, I thought this was in the same building that Coast Furniture is in, but I may be mistaken.
I don't, it's not this,
It's a single building.
Yeah, it's not the same building.
It's a single building, so this is a single storefront.
Yeah, Clements, she said, was in there, which I remember that. I just,
Well, Clements was in there before. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
so Coast Furniture, I guess, is a little further west.
and hasn't been back to visit us.
No, but he is going to the code board.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I'm having, seems like, because the lettering, I just, something about the spacing that bothers me, because it's almost like flooring and mattress, there's not enough space in between. If you
And
wanna-
the
if
and
you wanna,
melts into the,
you know, it's sort of like it just reads letters instead of. And words, yeah.
Yeah, that is their logo, but if you guys have any suggestions, I can definitely run it past them.
That letter placement, like the spacing is how they have their
Yep.
logo?
Well, you know.
Yeah, that's their vertical logo that they have.
Well, can they, my suggestion would be either make a little bit of tighter lettering between the flooring, or do they have a chain?
I think so. I think they have a location out in Panama City Beach as well.
Well, can they make it a little bit more
Yeah,
spacing?
just like adjust the kerning on the flooring and mattress, so it looks a little closer.
Well, you could, or you could, and keep the space. I would either make the spacing between the letters in flooring and mattress a little bit tighter, so, and keep the spacing between the and
Ampersand.
the two words, or spread it out a little bit so that there's more spacing between the G of flooring and the and more spacing between the and the mattress letter. So it's a little bit more so that it doesn't run all together.
Read as
'cause
one.
Visually, it just seems.
Reads as one, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any lighting that'll focus either down or up on the building for the sign, or is it just going to have just the visibility that it has?
To my knowledge, I don't know if they plan to eventually add any supplemental lighting, but I know we won't be, so.
is this width maxed out of the entire sign?
To my knowledge, yes, yeah, we had to come down on it, because what we originally proposed, Tim said it was out of the square footage, so we had to come down on it.
That might make
Yeah.
adding more space on either side of the ampersand challenging.
Right.
We certainly don't, I don't want to, I don't think the letters need to go smaller. I think that they're
Right,
a good
They're the
proportion.
right size,
Yeah.
yeah.
right.
So-
The only way we could do is adjust the
Better.
kerning between the letters and leave the ampersand spacing.
Yeah.
I mean, tightly, because, I mean, I actually, you know, like the letters sort of flowing separate, but to me, visually, it just, it all runs
Too
together.
much spacing.
It's too much spacing. And if you did it a little bit, it would still read like you wanted to read with the spaces between the letters, but you would separate the two words a little bit more. You know,
Is the sign on the building or is this a rendering?
This is a rendering. We haven't produced it yet.
I'll say this, the picture of sorry,
Superimposed image
on the building
looks
looks
like,
better
yeah,
than this one at the top of our page.
right.
You can, that ampersand
Yeah, because
stands
it's the
out.
same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing, just carried down.
Yeah, I know, it just,
Visually,
visually,
yeah.
visual tricks, so I don't think you've got to scoot them together much, just a little bit,
A little bit.
because that's gonna add up.
yeah, my critique was from the photograph. not
Yeah,
from
no,
what
I
was
know,
up
I'm
top,
just saying,
You know,
the space they reduce between each letter can be very small because it's gonna add up. because that's
Exactly.
Multiple spaces.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and that was my point, I mean.
You don't want too much space around that ampersand, that's gonna look funny.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll leave that to the designers, but
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got a good eye.
well, thank you.
But that would be from design point.
Yeah.
So,
Anyone care to make that motion? Just,
Do it, you can do
okay,
it.
okay, I motion to approve if the lettering in Flooring and Mattress are tightened up a little bit more, so you get a little more spacing between flooring and the and sign and the and the mattress sign.
Yep, makes sense.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any public comment? All right, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And motion passes. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Item number 6, Publix Pharmacy Drive-Through Building Sign Deviation.
Yes, this is a request for a sign deviation for an additional building sign on 56 acres with the future land use and zoning of Bay Walton Sector Plan Town Center. This is the Publix in Origins. You know, our code says you can have one per building. So they want to add this additional sign for the pharmacy because the one sign they have is Publix. And building is large enough, I didn't put what the square footage of the sign is, but the building is large enough that they can have a 100 square foot sign. But the request is to deviation for an additional sign. So with that, I'd ask the staff report be entered into the record,
Noted.
and I'll take any questions you may have, and I do believe the applicant.
Okay.
The square footage of both signs combined, is it still under 100?
Well, no, if you grant the deviation, each sign can be 100.
But just for our purposes, I mean, are they staying close to the 100 combined, or are they already at it with the one sign, you know?
I believe that sign is pretty close to 100. Current public sign. Of course, this isn't built yet.
Yeah, but come on up.
Scarborough with the Water Sound Company. The Publix copy is 18 feet 6 inches by 6 feet 6 inches. Whatever that comes out to be, that's just over 100, I think. Or right at.
18 by 6.5.
That does take into account the gap between Publix and food and pharmacy, so I don't know if that's
So,
technically.
When the gap is
considered.
removed, we are probably right at 100
Yeah.
square feet.
So actual copy is probably right at.
Okay.
Yeah, 100.
Let's don't talk about that anymore.
Okay.
I was just trying
But
to.
it fits well within the
It does.
facade on the
I was
building.
just trying to look, you know
And
how
it's
we do
been previously
sometimes.
approved. Yeah.
All right.
Give a little bit, but that's not gonna work, so here's. Oh, that's
And also, just for familiarity, I know 331 is not in the scenic corridor, but what we're asking for is what's on Publix at Freeport. And I have a photo if you just want to see it just for reference.
Sure.
I know it's
Yeah,
on
that'd be great.
I know it's on the elevation too. You're welcome to pass it.
And can you tell us, I know you've got a black and white of the facade on the, for us to view where the sign placement is, but can you tell us a little bit about the facade?
Yeah.
Because it feels like just the texture rendering that this could feel like multiple buildings in one complex.
Yeah, it's all earth tones and grays and light, like sandy color.
Is that a brick or stone masonry, or is it just a different texture that's kind of got the,
Is going to be like a stone block, but it won't be like red or anything like that. It'll be just like the Publix we're typically, we're used to in the Panhandle.
I have a, in this sign, you have the Publix here, and it's a gable. Here, it makes it like a little building, so you have the signage centered in that panel. Here, it's a little different. It seems to me like the pharmacy and drive-through um, just for hierarchical purposes and because the building is so big and it's not that little panel that you're centering the sign on, I'm thinking that it might, in my opinion, it might be better if the sign of the pharmacy would align with the food and pharmacy of the Publix. So it's almost like lowering it a little bit more, so that Publix is the hierarchical, and that's your main sign. And then if you lower it and aligns it, it just settles that, where that, gives it a reason of where your pharmacy and drive-through signage is in the building.
So if I'm following you correctly, if you drew a line, straight line parallel to the ground, right at the bottom of the words drive-through, you would want that line to be the bottom of food and pharmacy?
No,
I think it's the opposite. So on the main building, if I'm explaining correctly, Laura,
okay,
on the main sign where you have the secondary line that says food and pharmacy,
Mhm.
that she would like the pharmacy drive-through to drop down so that the top of pharmacy hits the top of food and pharmacy byline.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
To create a hierarchy
I
on the
see.
signage.
And it also, there's a raison d'etre as to where you're placing the pharmacy and drive-through, because right now, I don't think there's any, you could place it anywhere in that building. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's situated
On the
to
bay.
that left edge, because that's where the actual cover, the porte cochere or whatever's right there. You know
Right.
where the cars are gonna pass
And
through.
I totally agree with that. I just, in terms of the height of it,
Get it even closer to the portico.
Yeah, okay.
And I don't think it drops it that much. I think that's just enough
It's just
to,
a little.
Yeah, totally.
place
I'm-
it.
I'm
You know what
good-
I'm saying?
good
It's
with
just,
that,
it's just
sure.
a little thing, but
Mhm.
my eye tends to be picky.
I'll just say, my opinion on the deviation is that since this sign is pretty small, and it really kind of heartache.
Yeah. Others.
sorry, I just.
Nope, you're right.
I think the microphones might be going in and out.
I
and-
noticed
and
that,
I don't
yeah.
know if that's just my ear or if it's the
No, I think so
microphones.
too.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, I just need to move it closer, you're right. I was just saying that on the deviation side, I mean, because it's a small sign and to me, it tends to go away a little bit, which is probably good for a directional sign, because that's really kind of what this is. I'm okay with it, where many times I'm not. With an additional building sign.
Yeah.
And
And
I
it's a
think
large storefront.
It's a large storefront, but I think that the storefront is broken out architecturally
Mhm.
so that it feels like a multi-tenant building. It's not a
scaled
flat.
down.
Yeah,
It's scaled
different.
down. It's very well designed,
And
I
so it
think.
doesn't bother me having a secondary sign for all the reasons that she mentioned, but then also because of the articulation and the variation that's created there.
I agree.
So-
Well, it is a multi-tenant building, just so you know. Publix is the anchor, but that's not the only thing in there.
So
Right.
That may even add to that comment, where it would recede even more, because on both sides of the public, we're gonna have the smaller tenant spaces.
Are they gonna have signage on them?
But beyond this building.
And separately, yes, beyond.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
This is a single
This is the
building though.
Publix.
Right, single
Yeah.
building, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
okay.
Okay. No, I
Threw
mean,
all of
it's
us for a little bit
beautiful.
of a loop there. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna go to that Publix, so, closest to my house, so.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Does anyone care to make a motion on that?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. I motion to approve the deviation, with the caveat that the pharmacy drive-through, lettering aligns, the top of that lettering aligns with the food and pharmacy lettering under Publix.
Top of it.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Maybe go over it one more time, just so I'm clear.
Okay, so, the signage for pharmacy drive-through, the top of the pharmacy lettering aligns with the top of the food and pharmacy lettering under the Publix.
Okay,
Okay?
All right.
So
So
it's
in
just
that,
gonna drop down just a little bit.
yeah, so in essence, pharmacy and food and pharmacy,
Align.
Be on
They're
the same
same
plane.
paper
Yeah.
written, they would be on the same line.
In the same, yeah,
okay.
height,
Got it, got it.
okay?
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any public comment? All right, seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approved. All right. Item number 7, Bellarosa Apartments.
Well, I'm batting 1,000. I had that wrong as well. I thought that was multi-tenant, but that's one building. It is multi-tenant, but not that
multi-tenant in the-
building. Yeah, not that
Yeah.
building. Okay, Bellarosa, so this, well, this is a major development order application submitted by Avcon requesting approval to develop a 150-unit apartment complex and associated infrastructure on 13.23 acres with the future land use of mixed use and conservation residential and a zoning category of village mixed use and conservation residential 2-to-1. So, this was approved by this board back in March, at the March meeting. They have since revised it, so we're bringing it back. They reduced it by 1 unit, it went from 151 units to 150. They moved the splash pad out of the wetland buffer, and they moved building C. It was parallel to 98 going east and west. Now they've moved it south and it's going north and south. But nothing else with the building changed. The size didn't change, colors, nothing else with the building changed. But we thought that this was a big enough change from the previous approval to bring it back for you guys to review again. But those are, I think I covered all the changes.
God, I hate to ask you, Tim, but you go through them one more time?
Sure.
Do we want Tanya maybe to go through?
It doesn't matter who,
Okay.
I just wanted to hear kind of the summary of the changes again, but I'm fine with Tanya.
So it went from 151 units to 150, so they lost 1 unit. They have a splash pad and pool. Well, the splash pad was located within the 25-foot wetland buffer, so they moved that out. And they moved building number C, which is the one on the east. It was parallel to 98. Now it's perpendicular to 98, and it's closer to the eastern property line. So with that, I would ask the staff report be entered into the record, and I'll turn it over to Tanya.
All right. So noted on the staff report. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Tanya Nation with Avcon, and the owner is here as well as the architect. So I've got renderings, but I also brought the site plan here. So where we have this parking lot shown, that was where building C was. We took building C from the parking lot and moved it over here. There were some floodplain concerns, so instead of, we just moved the building out of the floodplain. So now we have the parking here, we've got landscaping, and so now you see even less of the building from. All of this really stayed the same, with the exception of the splash pad. It does not show where the splash pad is. It has to be out of the buffer. But on the civil site plans that you have, it does show, and you really can't see it from it's heavily buffered. And we've got so much of that native vegetation around there. And the renderings that we did provide you, we do have palm trees. Those palm trees are just so you can actually see what's behind them. The landscape plan, they are oaks and other more native species, but in the renderings, it's really hard to see the oaks.
No architectural renderings ever provide accurate landscape. I absolutely.
That's exactly right.
I would love to see one, but I know it doesn't exist, so.
So this does show what it will look like, building C will look like from the you do have to. But I thought it would be nice so you could see the change, the colors, everything. We do have our color palette. The sign.
I was, just because you're not with the microphone, I
Oh,
just want to
you're
make
good.
sure.
Sorry.
It-
Signs are all the same.
It didn't pick up a bunch of the presentation, but I guess you got that. So,
Okay.
All right.
We've approved everything else except for those things that we
Mhm.
changed.
And yes, ma'am, we made all the changes that you had requested previously with the slats. I'll let Charlie talk to that, but he did make all of those changes. Remember, I'm civil, so.
I think planning staff just felt like because the site plan was altering, that they didn't feel it was appropriate to administratively approve that and to bring
Okay.
it back to us, just to
Okay.
confirm
Yeah.
that we're still satisfied. But the architecture itself, all of the colorways, everything else is the same. Is that
That is
accurate?
correct,
That's how I
yes.
understood it?
That
Okay.
is correct.
And even though I was excited that the building was adjacent to 98 and the parking more back, the landscape plan is very heavy along 98, so it's not obtrusive with the parking there, so. Any other questions about the changes in the site plan or the site plan itself?
Happy.
Does anyone care to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any comments from the public? All right, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
And motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And Tim, we have some additional business tonight. Hopefully we can work through it pretty quick. Not voting items, but 2 informational items.
Yeah, the gentleman, I didn't bring his name, but I handed it out. He was unable to be here tonight. He fell ill, but he wanted to move forward. So you've got the picture. He wants to put an ice machine. This is in the same plaza with 98 Barbecue. I always get them confused. It's either Emerald Coast Plaza or it's Santa Rosa Plaza. This is at the end along Don Bishop Road. It's actually a separate parcel, which I didn't know was there. So the issue is, it really doesn't meet any scenic corridor requirements architecturally, but it is an allowable use in VMU. So
It's a modular structure. So
yes, it's
not one-
prefabbed. It does sit on a slab. So he wanted some feedback, and Steve Hall is watching. If you want to ask him any questions, Kelly can text him. But, she and I are both we're not sure how to handle this because architecturally, it really doesn't meet any scenic corridor requirement. And Steve was going to dwell on that as well.
And if the site plan was submitted showing the placement of it, it wouldn't, there's what type of site plan? Would it still have to meet all of the requirements for stormwater and vegetation, landscape
Yes.
screening?
Yes.
So,
We would do it as a less than minor. There has to be some mechanism to come to this board, so we'd do it as a minor. It'd be a minor development with DRB approval. So it'd have to meet all the requirements of any minor development. And that it would also.
with the exception of having architectural review, because it couldn't change its architecturally, because it's a modular thing.
Yeah,
Right.
it's modular, but I love the little, whatever it is. But what jumps at me is all this, ads on it. The
Yes.
signage is completely, I'm sorry, it's just too much. It doesn't fit at all. And that would, because architecturally, it's really nice, and I don't know whether what are these buildings on the building, or those are just further away?
Oh, I think that's just I think that's just a rendering that has nothing to do with,
Well, this is from far away, or, because, I know Lee will, Jump at it.
you're talking about the,
behind the railing.
behind the railings.
What
okay.
is that? Because that doesn't meet, that
That's
doesn't,
the refrigeration device of some,
if it's a river, they should do something about it so that it doesn't look like it's part of the design at all. And they should do something about that.
and Tim, this would be located, closest to Don Bishop Road, so it really would feel, it would be a corner architectural piece, if that's.
Yes.
Okay.
It's between the two drives. If you're familiar with this center, there's two drives that go to Don Bishop, and it's right in the middle of those two drives. So he could set it up on either side. I don't know what I'm assuming he's going to set it up facing Highway 98, so it'd be the drive that parallels 98 that you would utilize for the machine, but there's also a drive out behind it as well.
It would basically have parking on all four sides.
Oh, okay, so
or
it's
three
sort of like
sides.
one
Three
of the
sides.
Yeah, okay.
Three sides. There's an existing, I don't know for sure, I'm assuming it goes with this little parcel, but there's an existing retention pond immediately on the west side of this parcel that fronts right along Don Bishop Road.
But that little greenish looking area on this aerial photo?
Mm-hmm.
It's in the pack,
Yeah, it's a small parcel there, but it's separate from, the other buildings. But yeah, you can see the little retention pond on the west side parallel to Don Bishop Road.
wow, your eyes are goodly.
And are they, would they qualify for two signs because they're on a corner, Tim?
In terms of signage, yes.
But the sign would,
It doesn't meet.
but that's not the whole facade. I mean, with
No,
the sign, yeah.
I know, I'm
But-
getting ready to
yeah.
pare it way back here.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
love the shape of it, but the signage just kills me.
And I don't like that blue accent color either, underneath the awning and on that side over there. I don't know why that couldn't all just be white or silver or something to blend in more.
I do like the blue.
Do?
Yeah. I don't
Oh,
have any
I think
problem
it's
with
just
that.
very bright primary type stuff that we don't usually.
Well, I guess it could be less electric. I mean.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If it were a different
It could
blue.
be, but
But that matches
I
their.
don't mind that. I don't mind it. What I mind is all the signage. I mean, the shape of this building is gonna be its own, ad. It's gonna be its own sign because it's so unique. And,
So, Tim, the placement of this building, the site plan, the only non-conforming issue would be the architectural piece of it. Is
I
that?
think so, yeah, because it's going to have to
So-
meet all the other requirements of a minor development.
So it would only be necessary for us to grant a deviation to allow it to be, for all of the architectural and whatever, whatever deviations would be necessary to exempt it from the corridor.
Yeah, and those would be.
I guess the question is, there's nothing else about the site plan or the use or anything that would require a variance request? That
No.
everything would be under the purview of being able to grant a deviation?
Yes.
So it would just be listing out specifically what the deviations were, so that we would
I
be
think
able to
so.
line item each of the deviations.
now, the one thing that I would recommend is that they architecturally marry those whatever it is on the top of the little building that is storage or whatever it is, these two pieces here in the corner you see up on top, so that it is part of the building, because it just looks so foreign to it. It just kills it.
Yep.
Totally
Totally.
kills the design.
You can see it a little better on this page.
And I bet
how
these
out of
things are
place it
just
is.
out of the box.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
that's what
yeah.
I was looking at, So
Yeah, yeah.
I think that needs to be, redesigned. But other than that, the signage I'm a problem with, the blue, you're not gonna really see it much, but, you know, you can
You
tone
don't
it
have a
down.
problem with all that signage?
Oh, I do.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking
Good.
about.
And like for me, the blue, see how that words twice and ice on top of the building are a darker blue?
Yeah.
I'd like it better if it were a darker blue and not that electric neon-y looking blue.
Right, yeah, no, that's fine.
But I bet these things come out of the box like this. I wonder how much.
Well, I'm assuming kind of like a car wrap or something. I mean, I'm guessing you could probably do a vinyl wrap, or it is a vinyl wrap.
Or you.
Yeah,
you
but
know,
I
you
mean,
can
I don't know
paint
that
it.
you
I
can
mean,
alter
that's
these.
part of it
Well-
being in the corridor. You can paint it.
Well, I guess that's the question. If it's if the person is purchasing it and there's not any kind of contractual obligation,
That's my question is there?
if there's not, they could wrap it or have it wrapped or have
Or
it
have it
painted
painted.
or whatever the accommodation is. But if there's a contractual obligation, they would need to know that we wouldn't be able to approve
Approve
a
it.
deviation for all of the signage. That
The only signage I would be comfortable with is 2 signs on the top,
Twice pure water, because that's the name of
twice
it.
the ice.
well,
Twice
so,
the ice, yes, twice the
Both
ice.
of those, they're gonna want both.
so there, if I'm looking at the renderings correct, that twice pure water is on both sides. So
Right.
we would only be looking at having the Don Bishop side and the 98 side for signage, and not the parking lot sign.
And not the
If
front.
you, yeah, if you look at this one, it's got,
It's on all 3 sides.
It's all, yeah, I see.
well, I guess actually 4, because it looks like there's
Right,
another
yeah.
panel on the back that's the twice the ice. No, maybe not. I can't tell if I'm looking at 2 front elevations or a front and a rear.
I think it's 2
Two-
front.
2 front,
Front,
yeah,
because
okay.
it doesn't have the
Yeah, you're right.
railing on it, in front of it.
I mean, I just think, and from a general perspective, are they listening, the applicant? How is the applicant gonna get all this feedback?
I'm writing it down.
Okay. From a general perspective, what concerns me about this is like, if this goes in, then what else? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
Well, I think it all, it's
That
all
worries me.
circumstantial, you know? I
What's
mean,
that?
It's all contextual, you know? It seems like this is,
Oh, I mean, you know,
I mean, I don't want it to be a circus, you know, everywhere.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's why I'm opposing all that signage. And it should, if they paint it, it should be a color that we could approve, you know?
I mean, I'm okay with the white, I think.
I think, you know,
Just take all that.
yeah, I know. Right now, it looks graffiti all over.
Totally.
And it attacks everything. And to me, it looks like a circus kiosk. You know?
Exactly.
Would
Even though
they-
I like the architecture and I like the shape, and I think that, you know, for a really small building, it's really interesting and pretty, but it just, you know, I mean, I would never approve it as is.
Would they be allowed to have additional like monument sign? I mean, since it's its own parcel, but it's within a parcel?
Technically, yes, but it's so small, I'm not sure where they'd put it.
Right, because I
But-
mean,
Yeah, true.
But it's one sign per parcel, so they could have a monument sign.
They'd have to keep it within their boundaries.
within their parcel, right,
Yes.
within their
Like-
parcel boundary. Yeah, so I think we're all kind of in agreement that if they can make alterations to the signage. and
Equipment,
and-
The
and-
rooftop
And
equipment.
some sort of screening for the
And-
rooftop
and the
equipment, that,
color, that's what I wrote down.
well, yeah, that we could,
Well, my thought was, and we'd have to get Steve on board, but I don't see why we couldn't do like a blanket deviation for the architectural section of chapter 6. Just all the architecturals are waived.
I think you've got to spell them out. Maybe you advertise it in that way, but for the staff report and for the submittal, each one has to be listed. That I think that if you do it any other way, it opens up
Yep.
issues.
I
So
agree.
I think in the advertisement, I don't have a problem in the world with multiple architectural deviations. But for the application purposes, I think you have to, or the applicant has to say, we're requesting this deviation for this, or this deviation for that.
Well, I think it's going to be every single part of that section of our code.
And I think that has to, and the application has to detail that
For
out.
the point,
Yeah,
though.
well, not just to prove a point, but I mean,
But not
we
to
can't.
prove it, it's part of the.
Right,
Well,
if you can't, we have to be specific about what we're approving or not approving.
Right.
And so at
Very.
any of those, I think that, because they're line items, we could approve
Right.
5
but-
of 6, we could approve,
True,
Yeah, true.
from that point of view, but I
Yeah,
mean,
and-
when you
and-
say section 6.01.02,
Yeah, and
it's all
Steve,
listed right
yeah,
there.
and Steve is agreeing with me.
But I
that
get
that
it, you
was-
may not approve every single one of them.
Yeah, but I think, but we have, for documentation purposes, not just for our individual line item approval, but for documentation. And that burden is on them. That's not on you. That burden is on them to go through line by line and tell us exactly what they're asking for. It's a deviation. And for you just to be able to look at it and agree or disagree.
Yeah, and we may have to do something with the ad, because that could be a very
No, well,
large
no.
ad.
I think that the ad, and hopefully, Steve, you would agree with this, for the ad purposes, we could say multiple architectural deviations per this code, or, do a citation, and then for the actual application and the documentation that they provide, we line item each of those
You
out.
could also say architectural merit.
Sure, we'll figure that out, but
Because
typically
it's
we listed.
an architectural merit because,
Yeah, the same
not
way.
everybody has, you come with a crazy design and it's not, you don't have to approve it
Right.
architecturally because even if it met all the requirements, I
Mhm.
mean, we have
Have
that
that purview.
purview
yeah.
to say yes or no.
But yeah,
Yes.
I think that we could entertain it if they could know that they could make changes to they're not under a contractual obligation to keep it exactly the same, because exactly the
Gonna be-
same,
Won't pass.
we wouldn't be able to
No.
approve that, and it would.
And
be-
it's gonna be significant changes. I mean,
So if that's something that they're open to exploring,
These are prefabbed.
well, I don't think that the issue is the fabrication. I think it would just be as simple as painting
The
it
surface
or
of it,
or
the
having it
design.
wrapped.
but that rooftop thing is not gonna be
Yeah,
simple.
no, there could be.
Because that's just, you can,
There can be
you
a
can
screening
add
of
to it
some
a
sort.
screen and make it part of, use the railing type to screen it.
Did
And
you see how far that thing's sticking up above that railing?
I know,
It's
but I mean,
large. I mean, that's.
They're gonna have to cover it. all the
well,
way up
see,
there.
the thing is that
I
they have
think
to
that
make it
they could make an
architectural,
attempt if
They can
to-
make it, I'm not saying they
Yeah.
can't make an attempt. I'm skeptical that they can come up with anything that can work.
So if they have the option,
I have a lot of, it's creative.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, but.
So I think that
don't know.
burden is on them.
Yeah.
They know that we can be flexible with some things, but we're not going to be able to be flexible with the big pieces of it, with the screening and the signage, and if they can figure out a way to work within the system, that we can help work with them. But otherwise, we wouldn't be able to.
Well, when you do an improvement, you have to bring the landscape up to code. So he may have to landscape that whole length of that. I know he's in a separate parcel, but
Well,
he's part of this shopping center. So
Is that, Steve, is he responsible for landscaping off-site and bringing up to code the shopping center that is not his parcel?
I mean, he can argue that that's not the case, but
Say in his email that he was happy to landscape significantly, screen it however we would require.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, since it's a separate parcel, but it's still part of that shopping center.
Not sure how much he has to work with to even do that. I wonder,
Well, his scenic, well, I'm not sure he can do a 20, if it has to be on that parcel, I don't think it would fit and with a 25-foot scenic corridor buffer. But that's something Steve will have to give us direction, because it's a separate parcel, but it's one shopping center.
Yeah. I wonder how much of this little tiny parcel this little kiosk takes up. Because, you know, he says we can landscape and dress up in any way the board would like, but I'm not sure how much dirt he's gonna have,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, I don't know the dimensions either, but I think he's
Not
gonna be
for
hard
us to
pressed putting in that
determine.
25-foot scenic corridor buffer.
Well, he needs to have all the setbacks and meet, you know, all the requirements.
Yeah, and I mean, those are
Matter
20
if it's manufactured or
25,
not.
20, and 10.
So, well, that's his problem.
True,
You know?
that's true.
He's
But the
gotta,
problem is it's not on his property, right?
Well,
Um,
he's,
It won't be.
yeah,
well,
so
that's again his issue, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he
So-
has to meet all the requirements. We don't have to, you know.
Steve is
Yeah.
saying, let's see what the site plan actually works out to be. And I think that that's something that has to be explored, because I think, I don't know that you can make him bring, because if his parcel is not part of that other development order, there's no way,
That's what I'm getting
that
at.
we can.
no, I agree with that. If it's not part of the overall shopping center DO, then,
Yeah, and so we would need to confirm that.
but if that is the case, he will have to have a 25-foot scenic corridor buffer.
Well, and those are all the pieces that need to be,
Studied and.
yeah,
approached,
studied
you know.
and if they can be compliant, they need to list that, and if they can't be compliant, that needs to go into the deviation list.
This is such an
Well, and-
unusual situation. I mean, the standards were not developed
For something like this.
Yeah.
for something like, a
But-
parcel, I mean. Not even just this
Well, yeah.
use or this architecture, but I'm talking about the
Tiny
parcel
parcel, yeah.
situation. And
Right,
it's
no, I-
completely surrounded by another parcel.
And
It's
that,
weird.
that's very weird, and that's obviously, that's gotta be old, right? I mean, that's an old.
That's an old shopping center. I don't know when it was built, but it's an old center.
Love to know, just from curiosity, why that came to be.
And-
So,
and-
is that enough feedback, I think, that you have?
I think so,
Okay.
yeah. And just
Um,
as an aside, on the other side of Don Bishop, that's where Otto's Car Wash is under construction. Yeah,
Um,
I think I can pass this
Okay.
on to him.
And so there's one other thing that I wanted to bring to you guys. You don't have a printout of the beach walk, do you?
I do not.
Okay. Apologies, if you have to look at it on my phone again. So we approved beach walk monument sign 2 months ago?
I think so. I think it was
months ago?
two 2 months ago.
When you decided to go to Hawaii and leave us.
Yes.
And so what we asked of them was to bring down the logo sign by about 2 inches. Since then, they have submitted a couple of different times to staff, and they've asked me, well, does this feel like that's the 2 inches? Does that feel like it's right? And what bothered me at first was that the logo was rotated in a different direction than the building sign, and different from the website, and different from their first submittal. And so I was like, well, what's the correct rotation? Because I don't care, I just want it to match.
Right.
Okay.
right, Yeah.
So we went back and forth a little bit about that. I went out on the property today and verified that the current submittal that they have is the current logo orientation that is on the building. However, I'm not 100% sure that the location of the logo and stuff meets the intent that you guys talked about, just dropping it by 2 inches. I'm trying to find the imagery right now in my email. And I just wanted a second opinion if we need to tell them, okay, no, that needs to scoot back up a little bit, or you guys are missing the point of shifting 2 inches. So let me find the image in my email, and then we will look at it. Because that's the issue right now, is just that it's it doesn't feel like it matches. Oh, come on, pull up. Well, I've got it, but it's not pulling the imagery up. I don't know if it's just the cellular service or not in here. Dang it. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay.
I didn't mean for this to be a long night. I was hoping it would be a short night.
Speaking of, we spent a ton of time on that hotel rendering. so
They've got to just bring stuff to us. We're just going to have to start saying no and punting
But-
it. Punting it.
I agree. If we don't have enough in front of us to do what we're charged with
They're
doing,
just gonna have to wait another month.
I
then,
agree.
You know, it's
I
like,
think we should start doing that right off the bat every single time.
No, they'll learn real quick what to bring and what not to bring.
Yes, because word does get around. I've
Okay,
noticed.
here we go. I've got this one pulled up. Thank goodness. Okay, it just took a while for it to download. Okay, so I'm gonna pass this around, but this, the largest of the two monument signs that you see on the screen is the current request. And to me, it just feels like now it's too far down. And it doesn't have the same proportion that it had in the original, because there was no problem with the proportions.
so
from
wait
the-
a second, the top one has the S or whatever the logo is
Mhm.
different. Is that the original? Or
That's-
the-
So apparently that's the original submittal, but that does not match what's on the building, and I didn't catch it until they made the second submittal, and they were asking, well, does this look right for the second submittal? And I was like, well, no, the logo's definitely wrong. But it wasn't that the logo was wrong, it was wrong the first time, and we didn't catch that. But it could very well be they just don't know what their logo is, because they have 3 different logos. If you look on their website, if you look on the glass doors that are on the building sign. So,
Well, I think it needs to be like an inch up. Or
yeah, it
something.
feels like
needs
it's a
to-
little too far down now.
Exactly. It's
So what they're requesting is the larger image. The smaller image right above it is what they originally submitted, and we said, this is fine, just drop it down 2 inches. Whether that
They
needs you.
dropped it down 12 inches.
Yeah, now it feels a little too much to me. I mean,
No, I agree with you.
okay.
I totally agree.
They rotated it.
Yeah.
That's part of the
But the
issue.
rotation was wrong the first time.
Yeah, so
But-
this
I
one, the
actually
new one
like
is
the
right.
rotation
Yes.
better than the original.
I do too.
Yeah, so, but I went out and verified it, so that rotation that is in the revised submittal is what is actually on the building for the monument sign.
And the rotation is creating a lot more space.
It-
The new rotation, I think,
th-
or
yeah,
the illusion
so-
of it.
Possibly.
Yeah, illusionary, but it needs like,
Yeah, but
you
I,
pushed a little
But
bit
it
up.
feels like the proportions are different of
Yeah,
all of the
course,
text.
Yeah, when you rotate it,
Of
the
all of-
proportions change.
But of everything though,
Yeah.
not just of the one text. So I kind of want to say, go back to the original, rotate your S, scoot it down 2 inches, and be done. But
But they probably will tell you, that's what we did.
this is like the 3rd time they've sent something back,
And
and
they're gonna tell you that's exactly what we did. I think that is what they're gonna tell you. And the
It's
best thing is
awkward
to
because-
do,
Kelly Schultz has been handling this
Yeah.
because she was at the meeting and I was not. But yeah, I think this is the 3rd iteration of,
so you have to
cut bait.
take it from here and then just lift it up a little bit.
yeah. So I think
what happens is, when you rotate it, what the heck are they basing the 2 inches on?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all of a sudden,
Exactly.
everything's all
It-
out.
it
of
You're
changes.
absolutely right.
so. They just need to scoot it back up
A little bit.
a little bit,
Oh, yeah, I agree.
and it's too low. And they need to understand that if they made an error on the original rotation, and they just got to work with it. And if they can't submit something that, if they can't understand that, I mean, are they just gonna have to come back? Because I mean, it kind of seems so silly that they can't.
Well,
Bouncing back and
we
forth.
haven't approved it yet because it doesn't meet what you guys were asking for.
Because I think now it's just too low. So it just scoot it, just.
Can you email Kelly? I mean, Kelly is handling
Yeah,
this
I
because
can-
I
I
wasn't
can-
there.
I can email her. I just wanted to make sure that everybody else was feeling the same thing I was feeling. 'cause
Yeah.
it was, since it
Sure,
was.
Kelly wishes she wasn't handling it, but
Well, you stuck her with a really big
coming
agenda.
back.
Okay, so,
just
that's all
timing.
of our, that's all of our official business for tonight. So motion to adjourn and second. All right, thank you.
Thank you.